Welcome to the TechCrunch studio. I'm Semil Shah, and we're here with Gautam Gupta today. Gautam, welcome.
Thanks, Emil.
So you've just spent 8 years at a venture capitalist firm, General Catalyst, and you started in college, and you've just left to start your own company. Tell us what it's like inside venture capital for real.
Sure. Loaded question, but I think there are obviously some great things about being a VC and some bad things, and I think the great things are that it's constant intellectual stimulation. You get to meet a ton of really smart people and get exposed to a bunch of different ideas, and that's all exciting and fun. The drawback is that in order to know if you're any good at this business, it takes a number of years. So you make an investment in an early stage company, it takes 7 years to figure out until that company exits and to figure out if you made a return on that investment. In addition to that, as a young person in venture capital, I think the difficulty is that it's hard to find firms where you have a mentor or someone to really train you in this business. I lucked out in that I worked for General Catalyst through college. I knew exactly who I'd be working for, and I had a good relationship with the firm, but quite frankly, if that wasn't the case, I think it would have been really difficult. There's a lot to learn in this business, and without someone helping you along the way, it's just tough.
So in the time that you were there, what are some of the things that surprised you or you felt were some of the things you weren't prepared for, going into venture as early as you did, that you would want to share with other people who, obviously it's a very competitive industry, people would love to work in venture. What would you tell them?
Absolutely. So, well, the first thing I actually tell most people that want to get into venture after school not to do it. And that just goes back to what I said around finding a mentor or someone to train you. But to your point of what were the biggest surprises? One was that venture capital is really a sales business. You're always selling. The best entrepreneurs don't need your money, and if they're raising money, they have multiple options. So you're always trying to convince the entrepreneur why they should work with you, what type of value add you can bring to the table. The second thing that I would say is that the venture industry is very unique. Most venture capital firms don't operate like regular companies. Most firms are structured as partnerships, and the dynamics of partnerships can be very interesting. They're different from partnership to partnership, and some partners don't get along with others, and there are times where decision making can sort of break down in any firm, only because you have 5, 6, 10 people trying to make a decision on any given investment.
So, I know you interned in college for General Catalyst, and then you worked with them for 5 years, and are just leaving to start your own company. But just briefly, what are the things that you did there that were the most exciting that you felt like you were really into at the firm?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, working with a bunch of the companies and entrepreneurs in the portfolio. So the thing that I'm most proud of is I worked with and sourced and closed 5 investments at General Catalyst, and really learned a lot through each one of those processes and from each of those entrepreneurs and founders. The second thing, I was able to move to the West Coast and help General Catalyst open the Palo Alto office. And that's something that has been an incredible experience for me, moving out to California and meeting people like you, and just being in this ecosystem has been a lot of fun.
And so now here's the money question. What were the hard things, or what were the things you felt like you weren't prepared for, going into venture?
Absolutely. I think it's tough. It can be tough to sell. And I think for my first couple years in venture capital, the learning curve when you get into this business is near vertical. And so it's very hard to figure out what you're supposed to be doing and how to do it and how to be better at what you do.
Now, do you mean it's very hard to sell the firm to another entrepreneur, or very hard to sell yourself?
You're selling the firm, and you're selling yourself. And so you are, as I said, you're always selling, and one of the things that you're trying to do is give the entrepreneur a reason to call you back and to engage in a conversation with your firm. And so part of that is that you're selling yourself. And it took me, as trivial as it might sound, it took me at least a couple years to figure out that every conversation I should try to add value to that entrepreneur, even if it was something like send them a research report or a news article that they might find relevant and interesting, because they don't need to take my phone call. They're very busy people. So
okay, and so now,
and I'm learning that now on the other side.
Right. And so the other side is you've just left General Catalyst. After spending 8 years there, you're starting your own company, Naturebox. So how did you make the decision to leave? What motivated that?
Yeah, well, I've been really fortunate to have a great amount of support, and the folks at General Catalyst have been incredibly supportive and helpful to me. But the reason that I'm leaving to start Naturebox is there are a few reasons. The first is that the food and health sector has always been an area of importance to me. I was obese as a child and used to weigh over 210 pounds, and was sort of obese all the way up until college. And so I've always been interested in the aspect of trying to help people lose weight, and I've been through it myself, and so I know how difficult it is to be healthy and to sort of be fit. And then the second thing is my co-founder is someone who I've always wanted to be in business with. He's someone I've known since college, and we had an opportunity to work together, and we both sort of jumped at that opportunity, and the timing was right. The third thing is I've wanted to be an entrepreneur, and this is my sort of opportunity to learn how to be an entrepreneur. And I felt like I spent 8 years in venture capital and 5 years full-time at General Catalyst, and I learned a lot about being a VC. I don't know if I'm a very good VC.
And so now that you're on the other side, you've moved from the dark side to the light side. What is the biggest difference, right out of the gate? What do you notice?
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly,
you have less meetings.
I have a lot less meetings,
Right.
Which is nice. The biggest difference is that, well, number one, every decision. So in venture capital, you tend to really trivialize company building. I hate to say it, but a lot of times you talk about companies as theoretical. It's a very theoretical conversation. Market size and market dynamics and team. Sort of backgrounds of teams and all this. It's sort of very theoretical and at a very high level. And what I'm realizing is that every decision really matters, and there are hundreds of small decisions that I'm making, that my team, my co-founder and I are making, that really do matter. And we're fortunate enough to have the support of General Catalyst. We've hired some great people, and so
tell us a little bit about Naturebox. What's the pitch?
Absolutely.
What do you sell?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, this really comes out of my experience having struggled with food and health. What my co-founder and I realized was that there has been very little disruption in the food industry. So the way that you and I shop for food is essentially the same that it's been for decades. We go to the same grocery stores. We look at 40,000 items on shelf, and we choose what we want. And there's no component of education. There's no component of true discovery, and there's certainly no component of personalization. And so what we're trying to do is introduce discovery and personalization to this industry by focusing on specific dietary problems. So one of the things that we noticed is that consumers these days are becoming a lot more aware of what they eat. There's the organic movement, the local movement, and then there's food allergies and dietary restrictions. And that's causing your average consumer to take more care in what they shop for and take more care of what they eat. And we're trying to give them the convenience of...
Yeah, sure. So if someone goes to Naturebox today,
Yeah.
signs up, what are they going to get right out of the gate?
So the first problem that we're focused around is childhood obesity, and the leading cause of which is snacking, actually junk food. And so the first problem that we're going after is healthy snack foods, targeting moms who want to feed their families. And so our typical customer today is a mom with 2 school-age children. And they're signing up for a box that's delivered once a month of healthy snack food, along with educational content on nutritional habits and sort of developing better eating habits.
Okay, great. So right now, with all the pressure in retail, let's just look at the industry briefly. Mm-hmm. A lot of pressure in retail. Things are moving online. It's a very hot industry. How are you trying to target these demographics, which everyone is going after, in an e-commerce sense?
Absolutely.
How do you tackle that challenge?
Yeah, so one of the key differences is we're trying to solve acute problems for consumers. So, for example, the first thing that we launched is healthy snack food, and we're trying to solve the problem for moms who want to get rid of junk food at home. The next few launches that we do will be focused around dietary restrictions, like low glucose if you have diabetes, or gluten-free if you have celiac disease. So we're trying to find consumers who are out there looking for solutions to their problems and build those solutions for those consumers.
Great. Well, good luck to you, Gautam. Wish you all the luck, and check out
Awesome.
Naturebox.
Thanks.